guys, DC Blue here. I'm going to do my UFC 94 predictions. Probably one of the biggest cards of the year in my opinion. For sure, at least. For right now, as what we know of. I'm just going to do the main card. If I have enough time, I'll do the bottom card like usual. So, first fight, Guido versus Nate Diaz. Very interesting fight. You know, both guys are very well-rounded. Guida is a cardio machine. On the other hand, Diaz is a very good jiu-jitsu guy. Very good jiu-jitsu. Boxing's, decent. Guida, I think, has the advantage there. Wrestling, I think Guida has, but I think he's gonna caught submission. So I'm gonna go early second, actually late second, early third submission for Nate Diaz. Next fight, Carl Priest versus Dong Yu Kim. Dong Yu Kim, a lot of people thought he lost that fight against Mike Brown. In my opinion, I thought he won the fight. He was very decisive in that fight, and now he's going to be fighting in the UFC. He's fighting against Carl Priest. Carl Priest, last fight was against he got knocked out pretty bad by Thiago Alves. First time he's ever been knocked out in his career. Very decisive, I think, win for Thiago Alves. One thing about Carl Priest, he's a tough guy, man. He's a really tough guy. A lot of his fights, he's never knocked out a guy, but he's finished 18 out of his 9 out of his 18 fights by submission. So, he does have that finishing capability, but he hasn't finished a guy in a while. Definitely I can see Dong Yu Kim having the judo advantage, stand-up advantage. I'm going to give also Dong Yu Kim, who's pretty impressive with Matt Brown, stand-up. Carl Priest, on the other hand, I think is, kind of rusty. He hasn't fought in a while. But I do see him, if he can control the pace and he doesn't gas out like usually he does, then I think he would win this fight. So I'm going to go with him by I'm going to go with him by probably... I'm going to give Carl this fight. I think Carl, if he doesn't gas out, then he'll win this fight. I'll give Carl this win by split decision. Maybe. I don't know. This is a very close fight for me. Next fight, Stephen Bonner versus John Jones. John Jones will be 7-0 or 6-0. He's finished 5 of his fights except his debut fight, which he won by name decision in the UFC. He's fighting Stephen Bonner, who's been out lately. He's been out of fighting. His last fight was at UFC 77. That was a year ago. He's been having a lot of injuries lately, so he's finished 9 of his 12 fights, 12-4 record. He's fought some tough guys in the UFC. We lost to Shot Evans and Forrest Griffin. He's on a 2-fight winning streak so far, being Mike Nichols and Eric Schaefer. What can I say about this fight? This fight would just, I think, determine Stephen Bonner is aggressive like he is. If he's usually aggressive, if he's not aggressive, I think John Jones will win this fight. On the other hand, I think Stephen Bonner will win this fight probably by either late first or early second submission. So give it to Stephen Bonner. Next fight, Leo Machida versus Thiago Silva. Leo Machida 13-0, finished 5 of his 13 fights, which is kind of stupid, but he hasn't finished much fights. Thiago Silva's finished 12 of his 13 fights. Now, this is really a fight you really have to think about. This is basically a game plan situation. If Thiago Silva comes out with a good game plan, 9 out of 10, he will beat Leo Machida, or whatever how you pronounce it. Leo Machida, he's a karate expert. He's not MMA yet. He has jiu-jitsu. He can Sokoju fight, but competition-wise, Leo Machida has better competition. He's fought a lot more tougher guys. On the other hand, Thiago Silva has not. Thiago Silva's toughest fight, I think, was probably... Let me look real quick. Probably Houston Alexander. I'm not gonna lie. Houston Alexander or Antonio Mendez, which he won by submission. This is so depressing because I really want Thiago to win, but at the same time I see Leo Machida winning. I think Leo Machida will win because he's very elusive, and if you've seen the Tio fight where Tio was charged at him like a dumbass, of course, he gets slammed and gets mounted on or whatever and gets hit a lot. Will Thiago still do that? I don't think so. I think he's going to counter a lot more, but I don't think his counter is going to work for Lito Machida, so I'm going to go Lito Machida by name decision, of course. Main event, George St. Pierre versus BJ Penn 2. If you haven't seen the first fight, BJ Penn is winning the first round, and the second round, third round. And second round, I think, was George St. Pierre. Second round, I think, was pretty close, but third round, George St. Pierre won decisively, but BJ Penn gassed. This really does depend if BJ Penn does gas. If he gasses, then he is screwed basically in this fight. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. You know, he's very flexible. I mean, Dana White said before he has the capability of beating any man in the MMA, and he does. You know, but in my opinion, he just takes it for granted. You know, his last fight was UFC 84. He beat Sean Shirk by a devastating TKO win, which was pretty cool. I liked it. I don't like Sean Shirk. George St. Pierre's last fight was UFC 87 when he destroyed John Fitch. Very interesting. He was only had 2 losses, and it was against Matt Hughes and Matt Serra. He lost to Matt Hughes by armbar, and then got knocked out by Matt Serra. I definitely can see this is a fight that I think will go the distance. BJ Penn has fought, I think, a lot more international competition. George St. Pierre has fought just basically the UFC competition. I do see in this fight I can see BJ Penn winning this fight. You know, I can see him if he doesn't gas. If he gasses, then he is basically done. He will be done in the lightweight division or welterweight. He'll probably never go up to welterweight ever again. He fought internationally. He's fought Carl Uno, Tucker Gomi, Matt Hughes, Dwayne Ludwig, Rodrigo Gracie, Lito Machida, Renzo Gracie, Jens Pulver, Joe Stevenson. He's fought a lot of guys. And he also beat Matt Serra. He doesn't have a win over the guy that knocked out George St. Pierre. I do see, stand-up-wise, George St. Pierre having the stand advantage. Submission-wise, I definitely can see, and flexibility-wise and jiu-jitsu-wise, I can see, there we go. I can see BJ Penn having the advantage. I can also see George St. Pierre having the advantage also because he's a very strong wrestler. I mean, look at the Josh Koscheck fight. It took Josh Koscheck a lot of power to take him down. I mean, he used almost all of his power to take him down. He took Koscheck down a couple times. He even stuck his takedowns, which is kind of impressive actually. But it just depends on BJ Penn. If he gasses and he, you know, I really want him to win, but at the same time, if he gasses, he's done. But I do see BJ Penn win this fight if he does not gas. And he will probably win by late second, early third submission or TKO. If George St. Pierre and BJ Penn gasses, then George St. Pierre will probably win by 4th round TKO or submission. Maybe, I don't know. But lately, George St. Pierre, in my opinion, has been looking better every time. So, I'm going to give that the win. So, overall, this is a good card. I don't know if I'll order. I probably will order the Affliction card and then just save my money for UFC 95, I believe, which is rumored to have Matt Hughes versus Matt Serra. I really want to watch. So, overall, looks interesting, and I probably will watch it on the internet, and I'll give my review on it. And I'll do my Affliction Day of Reckoning later tonight. So, alright, see you guys later. Peace.